Have you ever noticed a horse suddenly stop, stare into the distance, and refuse to take another step? No matter how hard someone pulls on the reins, no matter how calm everything seems. The horse won't move, and sometimes, only minutes later, people discover there was actually something dangerous nearby, a predator hidden in the brush, a violent storm approaching, unstable ground just ahead. Coincidence? Maybe. But here's the strange part. Stories like this have been reported by horse owners, ranchers, riders, and trainers for generations. Again and again, horses seem to react to danger before humans even know it exists. And when you look at how horses evolved, it starts to make sense. For millions of years, horses survived not because they were stronger than predators, but because they could detect threats earlier than almost any other animal around them. Their eyes see things we miss. Their ears hear sounds we never notice. Their noses detect changes in the environment long before humans realize something is wrong. In some cases, horses have even displayed unusual behavior before earthquakes, severe storms, and other natural dangers. So what exactly are they sensing? And how can a horse sometimes know something is wrong before the people standing right beside it? Today, we're counting down 15 dangerous things horses can sense before humans. Some are backed by science, some remain unexplained, and one of them is so strange that even experts still debate how horses are able to detect it. Let's begin. 1. Things humans don't even notice. Every horse owner has seen it happen. The horse suddenly freezes, its ears point forward, its eyes lock onto something in the distance, and then nothing. No predator appears, no storm arrives, no visible danger reveals itself. The horse simply stands there, completely focused on something the humans nearby cannot detect. Maybe it's a distant sound, maybe it's a scent carried on the wind, maybe it's a subtle environmental change beyond our senses, or maybe it's a combination of dozens of tiny signals that our brains completely ignore. The truth is that horses experience the world very differently than we do. Their senses evolved for survival. Their brains are constantly processing information that never reaches our awareness. And while science has explained many of their remarkable abilities, there are still moments that leave even experts searching for answers. Perhaps that's why horses continue to fascinate us, because every now and then they remind us that the world contains far more information than human senses can perceive. 2. Human medical emergencies. This is one of the most fascinating items on the list. There are documented reports of horses behaving differently around people shortly before medical emergencies occurred. In some cases, horses became unusually attentive. In others, they appeared concerned or protective. Scientists are still exploring possible explanations. One theory involves scent. Changes in a person's health can sometimes alter body chemistry in ways humans cannot detect. Animals with powerful senses of smell may notice these changes. Another possibility involves behavioral cues. Subtle differences in movement, balance, posture, or breathing may signal that something is wrong. It's important to note that this area remains under active research, but the growing number of reports continues to attract scientific interest. And that brings us to the final item on our list, the one that remains the biggest mystery of all. 3. Injury or weakness in other animals. In a herd, every member matters. A weak or injured animal changes the group's dynamics, and horses are remarkably good at noticing those changes. They constantly observe one another, movement patterns, energy levels, behavioral shifts, even subtle signs of discomfort. In the wild, recognizing weakness quickly was important. Predators often target vulnerable individuals. By identifying problems early, the herd gains valuable time to react. Modern horses still display this awareness. Many owners report that horses behave differently around injured animals. Sometimes they become protective. Other times they become cautious. Either way, they clearly notice changes that humans may overlook. And some people believe this ability extends beyond other horses. 4. toxic or contaminated water. Imagine being thirsty and refusing to drink. Most people would assume something was wrong, yet horses do this surprisingly often. Sometimes there's a good reason. Horses possess an extremely sensitive sense of smell and taste. Contaminated water may contain odors or chemical changes too subtle for humans to detect. The horse notices them immediately. In many cases, horses will reject water sources that appear completely normal to people. While they're not perfect at identifying every contaminant, their caution can sometimes prevent them from consuming something potentially harmful. What looks like stubborn behavior may actually be a survival mechanism that has protected horses for thousands of years. And that survival instinct doesn't stop with food and water. It also helps them monitor the health of those around them. 5. Fire. Few dangers are as destructive as fire, and horses often detect it long before humans do. Their sense of smell is incredibly powerful. Even small amounts of smoke can trigger a reaction. A horse may become restless, alert, or agitated, while people nearby still notice nothing unusual. In the wild, recognizing fire early could mean the difference between escape and disaster. That survival instinct remains deeply embedded in horses today. Many stable owners have reported horses reacting before visible signs of fire became apparent. The animal notices the scent, the changing air quality, the unfamiliar environmental cues, and once again, their instincts take over. But not every danger comes from flames. Some threats can be hiding in something as ordinary as a drink of water. 6. People with bad intentions. Almost every horse owner has a story like this. A horse that normally loves attention suddenly refuses to approach a particular person. It becomes guarded, suspicious, even defensive. Now, this doesn't mean horses possess some supernatural ability to detect evil. The explanation is actually much more interesting. Horses are experts at reading behavior. They observe tiny details humans often overlook: body posture, eye contact, movement speed, tone of voice, confidence levels, emotional tension. A person with aggressive or unpredictable behavior may unknowingly send signals that make a horse uncomfortable. The horse isn't reading minds, it's reading clues. Thousands of them, and often faster than we can. But while human behavior can sometimes be dangerous, the next threat is far more obvious, at least once you know it's there. 7. Panic in a crowd. Horses evolved as herd animals. Their survival depended on recognizing danger spreading through a group as quickly as possible. In the wild, hesitation could be fatal. If one animal detected a threat, others needed to react immediately. That instinct still exists today. In crowded environments, horses often pick up on subtle signs of tension before obvious panic begins. A sudden shift in body language, unusual movement patterns, nervous energy spreading through a crowd. Humans may miss these signals entirely. The horse usually doesn't. That's why experienced handlers remain calm around horses. An anxious crowd can influence horse behavior surprisingly quickly. And sometimes it's not just fear that horses seem to notice. Sometimes they appear uncomfortable around specific people. 8. Human fear. You might think you're hiding your fear. Your horse probably disagrees. Many riders have experienced moments when a horse suddenly becomes tense, nervous, or hesitant immediately after the rider starts feeling anxious. The fascinating part is that horses are incredibly skilled at reading people. Studies have shown that horses can recognize human facial expressions and distinguish between positive and negative emotions. But it goes even deeper than that. Changes in posture, changes in breathing, muscle tension, movement patterns. A horse notices all of it. Some research has even suggested that horses can synchronize aspects of their behavior with human emotional states. In other words, your horse may detect your fear before you've consciously acknowledged it yourself. And when an entire group becomes fearful, horses often notice that too. 9. Lightning. Long before the first flash lights up the sky, many horses already know something is changing. Some become unusually alert, others pace nervously. A few refuse to stay in open areas altogether. What's remarkable is that these reactions can happen before humans hear thunder or see any obvious signs of a storm. One possible explanation involves static electricity. As storm systems develop, electrical charges build up in the atmosphere. Scientists know that many animals are sensitive to environmental changes humans barely notice, and horses may be among them. Combined with their ability to detect distant thunder and changes in air pressure, it's no surprise that horses often seem one step ahead when lightning is approaching. And sometimes the danger they're sensing isn't in the sky at all. It's standing right beside them. 10. Dangerous weather changes. Have you ever noticed a horse acting strangely on a day that seemed perfectly normal? The sky is blue, the wind is calm, there isn't a storm cloud in sight, yet the horse suddenly becomes restless. It paces, it snorts repeatedly. It seems distracted, as if something is bothering it. Then, a few hours later, the weather takes a dramatic turn. Heavy rain arrives, powerful winds begin to build, or a severe storm rolls across the horizon. To many horse owners, this isn't unusual at all. In fact, countless riders have observed their horses reacting to approaching weather long before any visible signs appear. Unlike humans, horses are incredibly sensitive to changes in their environment. One of the biggest factors is air pressure. As storms develop, atmospheric pressure often begins to drop. Humans rarely notice these changes directly. Horses, however, appear to be much more sensitive to them. Researchers have found that many animals respond to shifts in barometric pressure because these changes often signal major environmental events. For a prey animal, recognizing those signals early can provide a huge survival advantage. But air pressure isn't the only clue. Approaching storms can also alter humidity levels, wind patterns, and even the concentration of scents in the air. A horse's highly developed senses may detect these subtle changes long before humans become aware of them. Some experts also believe that horses can sense distant thunder long before people hear it. Low-frequency sounds can travel great distances through the atmosphere, and horses possess hearing that is significantly more sensitive than our own. What seems like a calm afternoon to us may already be filled with warning signals that a horse can detect. That's why experienced horse owners often pay attention when multiple horses in a pasture begin acting differently at the same time. Sometimes the animals seem to know that rough weather is coming long before weather apps, forecasts, or dark clouds provide any clues. Of course, not every restless horse is predicting a storm, but when you combine their hearing, smell, environmental awareness, and sensitivity to pressure changes, it's easy to understand why horses often appear to know what's coming before we do. And if detecting storms is impressive, the next item on our list is even more specific. Because some horses seem to react not just to bad weather, but to lightning itself. 11. Earthquakes. What if your horse knew an earthquake was coming before any seismograph recorded it, before any warning was issued, before you felt the slightest vibration beneath your feet? It sounds like something out of a movie, but for centuries, people around the world have reported strange animal behavior shortly before major earthquakes, and horses are among the animals most frequently mentioned. Owners have described horses becoming unusually restless. Some start pacing their stalls for no obvious reason. Others refuse to enter barns. Some become nervous, agitated, or difficult to calm, despite appearing perfectly healthy. Then, hours later, or sometimes minutes later, an earthquake strikes. Now, it's important to be clear here. Scientists have not conclusively proven that horses can predict earthquakes. In fact, the subject remains highly debated. But what makes these reports so interesting is that they keep appearing across different countries, cultures, and time periods. So what could be happening? One theory involves vibrations. Before a major earthquake occurs, the Earth's crust can release tiny movements and low-frequency waves that humans cannot feel. Some researchers believe certain animals may be sensitive enough to detect these subtle signals. Horses are particularly good candidates because of their powerful connection to the ground. Every day, they process enormous amounts of information through their hooves, legs, and bodies. Tiny changes in terrain, pressure, and vibration are constantly being monitored by their nervous system. Another theory suggests that earthquakes may cause changes in underground gases, water chemistry, or even electromagnetic activity. These environmental shifts might create unusual sensory cues long before the main event occurs. Again, none of these explanations have been definitively confirmed. But what's fascinating is that scientists continue to investigate the possibility because the reports are simply too numerous to ignore. In some documented cases, horse owners noticed unusual behavior shortly before seismic activity occurred nearby. Was it coincidence? Was it heightened sensitivity? Or was the horse responding to signals humans still don't fully understand? The truth is, we don't know for certain. But if there is one thing horses have proven throughout history, it's that they are incredibly aware of their surroundings. And while earthquakes remain a mystery, the next danger on our list is something horses can detect with far greater certainty. In fact, many horses know it's coming long before the first dark cloud appears in the sky. 12. Unstable ground. Imagine riding along what appears to be a perfectly normal path. The trail looks safe, the surface looks solid, nothing seems unusual. Then suddenly, your horse stops, not hesitates, not slows down, stops completely. You encourage it forward, it refuses, you try again. Still nothing. At first, it might seem like stubborn behavior, but what if the horse is sensing something you can't? Beneath the surface, the ground may not be nearly as stable as it appears. Hidden mud, soft earth, underground cavities, weak riverbanks, even the early stages of a sinkhole. These dangers can be incredibly difficult for humans to detect with a quick glance. Yet many experienced riders have stories of horses refusing to cross areas that later proved unsafe. The reason may lie in how horses interact with the ground itself. Unlike humans who rely heavily on vision, horses constantly gather information through their legs and hooves. Every step sends feedback through their body. The firmness of the soil, the texture of the surface, the way the ground responds to pressure. A horse can detect subtle differences that most people never notice. Researchers studying equine movement have found that horses are exceptionally sensitive to changes in terrain. They continuously adjust their balance and stride based on tiny variations in the surface beneath them. This sensitivity helps explain why many horses become cautious when approaching unstable ground. What looks perfectly normal to us may feel completely different to them. A section of earth that's beginning to collapse, a muddy patch hidden beneath dry grass, a river crossing with a dangerously soft bottom. The horse may be picking up clues long before any visible signs appear, and that's why experienced trail riders often follow a simple rule. If a horse suddenly refuses to step somewhere, don't immediately assume it's being difficult. Sometimes the animal may be responding to information your own senses haven't detected yet. Because when a prey animal has spent millions of years avoiding danger, ignoring its instincts can be a costly mistake. And speaking of dangers hidden beneath the surface, the next item on our list may be one of the most mysterious abilities ever reported in horses. Some people believe they can sense an earthquake before it even happens. 13. Aggressive dogs. Most people think of dogs as friendly companions, but from a horse's perspective, an unfamiliar dog charging toward them can look very different. In fact, throughout history, wild canines were among the many predators horses had to watch out for, and even today, many horses react long before a person realizes a dog is becoming a problem. Picture a rider moving along a quiet trail. Everything seems peaceful. A dog appears in the distance. At first, it doesn't seem threatening. It isn't barking. It isn't growling. It isn't showing its teeth. But suddenly, the horse becomes tense. Its ears point forward. Its head rises. Its entire posture changes. Why? Because the horse may already be reading signals that humans haven't noticed yet. Animals communicate constantly through body language, the position of the head, the stiffness of the body, the direction of movement, the speed of approach. To humans, these details are easy to miss. To a prey animal whose survival depends on detecting danger early, they're impossible to ignore. Researchers who study animal behavior have found that horses are remarkably skilled at interpreting movement patterns and body posture. An approaching dog doesn't need to attack for a horse to recognize that something feels wrong. A direct stare, a tense body, a fast, focused approach. These can all signal potential danger. And once a horse identifies a possible threat, its instincts immediately begin preparing for action. Heart rate increases, muscles tighten, attention becomes completely focused on the source of concern. What makes this especially interesting is that horses often react before the dog displays obvious aggression, long before barking starts, long before lunging occurs. The horse may already be aware that the situation is changing. Experienced riders often learn to trust those reactions, because in many cases, the horse notices the warning signs first. And sometimes the danger isn't another animal at all. Sometimes the threat is hidden beneath the very ground they're standing on. 14. Snakes hidden in the grass. A horse is calmly walking down a trail. Nothing seems out of place. The path is clear, the weather is perfect, and then, without warning, the horse abruptly stops. Maybe it sidesteps, maybe it backs away, maybe it refuses to move forward no matter how much encouragement it receives. To an inexperienced rider, it can look frustrating, almost as if the horse is being stubborn for no reason. But sometimes the horse has spotted a danger that the human hasn't noticed yet. A snake, and often it's hidden so well that it's nearly invisible against the ground. Snakes are masters of camouflage. Many species blend perfectly into grass, leaves, dirt, and rocks. Humans frequently walk right past them without ever realizing they were there. Horses, however, tend to notice subtle movement much more quickly. Because they evolved as prey animals, their brains are constantly scanning the environment for anything unusual. Even the smallest motion in the grass can immediately trigger their attention. Researchers studying animal vision have found that prey species are often exceptionally good at detecting movement, even when details are difficult to see. For a horse, a slight ripple through tall grass may be enough to signal potential danger. But vision isn't the only advantage. Horses are also highly sensitive to vibrations through the ground. Their large hooves and powerful legs help them pick up subtle environmental cues that humans often miss completely. If a snake is moving nearby, creating faint vibrations through the soil, a horse may detect those signals before a rider has any idea something is there. That's one reason many experienced horse owners take sudden hesitation seriously. In some cases, horses have refused to cross certain areas only for riders to later discover a snake lying directly in their path. Of course, not every stop means a snake is nearby, but when an animal has spent millions of years surviving by avoiding hidden threats, it's usually worth paying attention when it suddenly decides something doesn't feel right. And while snakes can be dangerous, the next threat on our list doesn't slither through the grass. It often comes running straight toward the horse. 15. Approaching predators. Imagine standing in an open field with your horse. Everything seems completely normal. The air is still, the trees aren't moving, and as far as you can tell, there's nothing unusual nearby. Then suddenly, your horse lifts its head, its ears lock onto something in the distance, its muscles tense, and it begins staring at a specific spot beyond the tree line. You look, you see nothing. But the horse refuses to relax. A few moments later, a predator appears. Maybe it's a cougar, maybe it's a coyote, maybe it's a bear emerging from the woods. The horse knew something was there long before you did. This ability isn't mysterious when you consider how horses evolved. Unlike predators, horses are prey animals. For millions of years, their survival depended on detecting danger before it got close enough to attack. And nature equipped them with some remarkable tools for that job. A horse's eyes are positioned on the sides of its head, giving it an incredibly wide field of vision, close to 350 degrees. That means a horse can monitor nearly everything happening around it without needing to turn its head. Their hearing is just as impressive. Each ear can rotate independently, allowing the horse to pinpoint sounds coming from different directions at the same time. Even faint rustling in the bushes can immediately grab its attention. And then there's smell. Horses possess a highly developed sense of scent that helps them detect animals long before those animals become visible. In the wild, noticing a predator just a few seconds earlier could mean the difference between life and death. That's why experienced riders often pay close attention when a horse suddenly becomes alert for no obvious reason. What looks like nervousness or stubbornness may actually be the horse processing information that the human rider hasn't detected yet. And predators aren't the only hidden danger horses seem to notice before us. Sometimes the threat is much smaller and hiding right beneath our feet. For thousands of years, horses survived by detecting danger before it reached them. Their incredible eyesight, their powerful hearing, their remarkable sense of smell, and their extraordinary awareness of the environment all work together to help them notice threats that humans often miss. So the next time a horse suddenly stops, stares into the distance, or refuses to move, you may want to pay attention, because there's always a chance the horse has noticed something you haven't. And that raises one final question. Have you ever witnessed a horse react to danger before anyone else knew it was there? Let us know in the comments below.